Let's talk about Whit weeks first because he has the highest score. You know what I mean?
I get what you mean. Why don't
Yeah,
you take it away on
exactly.
him since you love his tape so much?
Yeah, I really do love Whit Weeks, and I do acknowledge that I may have gotten a little bit carried away, but he is in the same tier as Deontay Lawson and Anthony Hill. I want to make that clear. I absolutely get why you have Anthony Hill 3, and I really was tempted to put him below Deontay Lawson and below Whit Weeks. It was just they're all in the same tier for me. It just ended up cutting that way. Hill's number one, Lawson's number two, Weeks is number three. Um, I think they're all taken in the first round next year. I think that's a very hot take. That's why I'm so high on this linebacker class. I think they're all going in the first round next year. And I guess it is a pretty big hot take for Whit Weeks because I haven't, I try not to look at that before I watch guys, but a couple of days before the episodes, I'm going to try to really look and see what the general consensus is, though it's hard to find. It doesn't seem like anybody's really there with Whit Weeks, which I'll be honest, I just don't understand how you can look at a true sophomore playing the way he is and just not see it with him. You know what I mean? I think he's a great athlete. That may be the difference. Sometimes we just don't see the eye to eye athletically. I think he's a great athlete with elite downfield acceleration. And do I think he's the best athlete of all time? No, I generally try to go like elite, great, very good, good, solid, average. That's kind of the Victor grading scale in terms of adjectives. But man, he's great. He's a great athlete. Doesn't really leave much on the table. He's very agile. We talk about guys at the tackle point being able to loosen those hips and really make the tackles. I think Whit Weeks is a great example of that. The amount of times I've seen this guy just flip the hips and then make the most absurd diving tackle you'll ever see in your entire life it's more than like five. I don't understand it, man. He just jumps like he's a fucking dinosaur in a Jurassic Park movie. He's a velociraptor, and he just doesn't miss many tackles too. He just hits well. Um, he just attacks violently. He wraps up well. Career missed tackle rate below 10. He's never seen a missed tackle rate below 10 in his 2 years. Um, there's just not much he doesn't do well, in my opinion. I think he is a average man cover defender because he hasn't seen many man coverage reps. I don't think it's due to his athleticism. I think he gets flat-footed occasionally. I think it's due to technique rather than a lack of athleticism. Get him more reps because he's a true sophomore. This is another one of those guys that I think he's already put it together. And if you had the draft today, I'd take him in the second round. But I do think he's going to put it all together next year and become a true first round linebacker because he's also just incredibly smart for someone that young. He just sees really everything. I mean, you're just not going to see many missed reads in the run. He flows the correct way all the time. And then he comes downfield really quickly, hits the lineman really, really hard, or he's going to duck around and try to make a play. And sometimes it doesn't go well. I'd like to see him improve that, just like most young linebackers, but sometimes it does. He's got that innate playmaking ability to really muck things up there. And then it also doesn't hurt that this is just a guy. When you watch Harold Perkins and Whit Weeks together, I think you're seeing the most motor any linebacker core has ever seen, apart from maybe like that Baltimore linebacker core with Ray Lewis and Terrell Suggs and the other guy. Like there's just so much motor. Whit Weeks just does not quit, and I love that about him. He is below 230 pounds. Sometimes will get washed out of the run fit. And again, like he's still not all there mentally as a processor. Sometimes he's a little slow, especially in coverage and play action. We want to see that get better. I trust that it will. Just keep getting more reps, and he does have some injury concerns that scare me, but I just think he's going to be a elite to great to elite run and chase Will, who's going to make a lot of Pro Bowls and a couple of All-Pro teams. I'm planting my flag. Whit Weeks is going to be awesome.
We literally just disagree on the athleticism. It's
Fine.
like that's all it is. What really turned me off is what I kind of got into earlier. I saw way too many explosive running backs stick a foot in the ground and just burn the pursuit angle, accelerate away from him. I'm interested to know if you watched. Oh, did you watch him against Alabama?
I think I watched a little bit of that one, maybe, but I think I watched like one 2023 game and two 2024 games, so I don't remember.
Okay, because it was actually the last game I watched of him, which I believe was against Alabama, that started to generate some concerns in my mind. Because in that one, he had 3 or 4 misses where he just went flying by dudes, and it really put a damper on the foot speed. I didn't love his hip fluidity either, and I thought his sideline to sideline ability was average. Those are all the negative things I want to say about Whit Weeks. I think his
Yeah.
take on technique to deconstruct blocks and truly go after weak points, free himself up, is elite. I think the only other player in the class that consistently does that, where you're not just looking to pop pads, you actually know how to get off of your block, is Sonny Styles, who is my linebacker one. I think Weeks really knows how to use the zone jam, where he's hanging out in the hook curl, and there's a mesh crosser coming across the field, and he wants to put that guy on his ass. Because when you go out and hit a route, you're not playing flag football. Like, that throws off timing. Football offenses are timing oriented. And if the receiver cannot reach their landmark in time, that's going to be huge. I also just thought he was urgent in coverage. We talk about covering players and not grass. He is looking around at all times for somebody to flip the hips, even if he's not going to flip the hips super fast, and snap onto in time. So I thought he was fairly impactful, even if he's probably not going to be a 3 interception a year type of player. I even thought he was a really savvy blitzer with a great understanding of timing. I saw a couple moves in the tank as well to just sort of slither through the line and find the quarterback. There is so much to like with Whit Weeks. I just thought he was athletically limited, and it breaks my heart a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes a guy will do that to you. Just such a good player and just can't get the athleticism up. Unfortunately for me though, I love his athleticism, so I'm all the way there. But man, that thing, the hip fluidity, it's really tough to gauge. It's
It is.
really tough. So it's just either one of us could be wrong there. It's probably somewhere in the middle. Um, and
We're both wrong. He doesn't have hips.
yeah, oh, medical genius,
Yep,
medical
you were
genius.
talking about medical concerns. That's what it
Exactly.
is.
That
The
was
hips
that
don't
was what it
exist.
was. He doesn't have hips. That's his medical concern. Um, I talked about it a little bit earlier, but he's also, I really did see him make a couple of pre-snap checks that impressed me, especially telling guys to blitzing himself when it clearly wasn't in the original design. I thought that was very impressive. But yeah, that kind of thing where it's just hard to gauge hip flexibility at the tackle point. I think there are just some plays where it's like, yeah, that looks like his fault because he just couldn't make the play. But then I have to kind of temper myself and be like, who could make that play? Nobody.
Mm.
You know, sometimes I think a lot of it is guys like that who are great athletes, they will overrun themselves. And everybody does it. They just overshoot with the angles and it makes their hips look bad. Versus sometimes somebody can actually take incredible angles and really hit them at the exact right moment and make their hips look better. So it's really just that's one of the toughest parts of linebackers to really gauge is hip fluidity when tackling. It's really tough.